Hey guys, welcome back to Alexandria Pharaohs. I'm Sajuuk and we're going to be heading into the final campaign of both Pharaoh and Cleopatra. We're going to be heading into Cleopatra's capital, and I like this campaign because it's a bit of a difference from the last three where we've been basically building shanty towns. This one's all lovely, nice, large city building from Pharaoh. Something that you will enjoy because I think we'll be having a lot of a drought of that. Alexander the Great himself has paced off the future site of Alexandria, the port city on the Mediterranean Sea that you must now build. Under the 300-year reign of the Ptolemies, ending with Cleopatra VII, Alexandria will become the greatest city in the world, exceeding Rome in population and wealth. Alexander's mausoleum, the Great Library, the Pharaoh's lighthouse and the Caesareum are your city's projects. But what of Rome's mighty legions? Will they be used for or against Cleopatra's Egypt?
The great Alexander, son of Philip II of Macedon and scourge of the Babylonian Empire, blessed the lands of Egypt with his presence. With his coming, the final corrupt Persian satrap has hastily fled. After sacrificing to the Apis bull at Memphis, Alexander has been accepted as Pharaoh. All the people rejoice. Before setting off on his journey to the Oracle of Amun in the Siwi Oasis, however, our leader decided to found a new city, one that he wishes to someday be the capital of his vast and expanding empire. In his infinite wisdom, he has appointed you to be this future city's first mayor. The great Alexander has bestowed upon you a generous endowment of funds from which to begin construction, and has given you the services of the esteemed Greek architect Dinocrates. In a mere dozen years, he expects you to have the commercial, cultural, and military might of his city developed to high standards, as he has vowed to return. Our leader has even taken the time to trace the positions of the two main thoroughfares of his city. The Canopic Street runs along an east-west axis. The other main avenue is perpendicular to it, and heads inland from Cape Lochias southward toward Lake Meriout. As trusted overseer of this project, you should quickly build port facilities and establish lucrative trade routes. There should be many customers for our products, especially wheat, barley, papyrus, and linen. Do not neglect the cultural aspects of this city, nor its military, however, as there are still roaming Vandals that wish to rob Egypt of her wealth.
Well, that's some briefing. We are going to be building Alexandria, Alexander the Great. It's going to be an interesting map, this one, and there is a bit of carryover, but I'll talk about that later in the video. But we've got quite a hefty population set of targets here. We've got 4,000 people, 45 culture. We've got to build some sort of monument. I'm not sure what it is. Prosperity 55, Kingdom 60, and 12 common residences. Now, the common residences are quite high, and for the most part, this is like a mid-game Pharaoh city, so like Eret or On or something like that. So we are going to be building a rather large city. The catch, we've got to do it in 12 years, so we do not have time really to hang around. We've got to rush into this quite a bit. What does it say about the monument? I don't think it actually says about the monument, but we do have to build some sort of monument on this map. We've also got possibly some military and a lot of trade routes. We're going to continue on hard for this last campaign of Pharaoh. Let's head to the city. And pause. So, months to complete mission, 144. So we've got a massive amount of coastal space here. Oops. There's just infinite amounts of it here. There is so much coastal space that I don't think we're going to have any problems placing docks or anything. So we've got fishery wharfs as well. And we've got grain. So we've got two food towns without imports, and we've got barley. We don't have any clay pits, so we are going to have to import pottery or clay from somewhere. I mean, just look at all this space that we've got. So much. The map's huge as well, so there's a bit of an asp up here, but we're not going to go up here. There's a bit of reeds. Quite a bit of farmland that's just too far away. There's a shit ton of reeds down here with some asps that we'll have to block in. There's a bunch of farmland down here, some useless rocks. And there's some farmland in the city area, so this is a huge map. Now, the monuments that I read out earlier are going to be built on this map. Now, the carryover on this mission is troops and personal savings in some missions and monuments. Now, unlike with Dair El Medina and the Valley of the Kings, the monuments do not go in certain places apart from the one that goes up here, what these rocks are for, but we're not going to talk about that right now. So if I build the monument here, which is a mausoleum, if I put it there, then it's going to be there the whole time and I can't build anything else there. So we have to be aware that we don't want to block in too much of this area right here, because this is a good place for housing blocks over time. This farmland is going to be quite useful for getting started. Ra and Ptah, so 2 gods, so basically our housing level is Spacious Manor maximum for 2 gods. But we're not going to go for manors on this one. We've got everything else. Defensive structures, we've got pretty much everything that we want, so it's going to be an interesting map. We do have reeds, but the reeds are really far away, but we could probably sell a lot of papyrus, and I think beer is pretty much going to be as well, and grain. Let's have a look at the world map. So we're here at Alexandria. Now we do have a trade route already open, and we've got one to Byblos. They don't really sell us anything we need. They do sell us fish, ivory. Oil is worthless because we're not ever going to use oil again. Wood, I suppose, is necessary because we are going to have to import wood to make warships. There are some military battles on this map. They do sell lots of linen, but they also buy papyrus, which is going to be useful. So let's have a look at theirs. Right, this Alexandria set of missions are trade heavy. There are tons and tons of trade routes on this one. So Nkome sells wood and copper, buys beer and grain. Gaza sells meat, they also sell wood, they also buy papyrus, lots of it. Athens buys tons of grain. They also sell pottery, which we're going to need. And don't do really anything else. Papyrus can also be sold here to Kyrie. They also sell shit tons of pottery, so we don't really need to worry about pottery because we can import. I think Men Fair sells pottery too, so we can sell, import. What is that? 9,000 pottery here. That's more than enough. I have free trade routes, and Men Fair also buys beer, and they sell wood again. Where the wax come from, I don't know. Men Fair also sells flax, which we can use for linen. Meidum sells grain and reeds, which we don't need, and they buy things we can't make, so that is a really redundant trade route. Cerebet Kadim sells gems and copper, buys grain. Eonet sells more pottery, so we can get like 10,000 pottery a year, that's not a problem. They also sell flax and buy things we don't need. Puenet buys papyrus, which is also useful. And Buhem buys things we can't make anyway. We could sell linen if we import flax. So lots of papyrus sellers. The only problem is that the papyrus is on the other side of the map. All of it's here, and the dockers come up here. So we're going to have to find some way of getting lots of papyrus for export. Now, there is some floodplain down here, but this is way too far away, and we're not using it. Largely because, as I say, it is just too far away. It's just so far that there's no real point in it, given that we have meadowland here, and pretty much enough meadowland near here where we don't really need to go too far inland. So yeah, we have pretty much creative freedom on this map, but we do have a time limit of 144 months, and one thing I noticed is we can't import sandstone. So it says here import, no sellers for this resource, and this good is only available by import. So right now we can't build the monument. Now there are trade routes that are going to open up that will allow us to import sandstone, and there are also hefty gifts of sandstone. So we don't have to worry about the monument, and I'm not too sure where I'm going to put the monuments. I'm probably just going to put them out of the way. If I rotate them up, I can just put like the mausoleum over here or something and just keep them out of the way, because I mean, it would look nice if I put it here, but then that's just going to block off coastal space, so we're not going to do that. Could even put it up here. And on this mission, generally I don't try to build monuments into the city because it'll get in the way for future missions on this one where we're going to have larger population targets. So I will probably just put this out of the way somewhere that I'm not going to build too much. Like, see, I'm not going to build up there because that's too close to the map edge and it's too far away anyway. So I will probably just put monuments over here. Some monuments I'll try to build into the city, but others I won't. Like mausoleums, for example, I will just put out of the way. So yeah, that's an overview of the city. We start with 12,000 demons, so we start with a lot of cash, and that is very useful because we're going to have to spend a lot to get our papyrus industry right. So luckily we don't have to do anything, the trade route's already open, so we can start with papyrus straight off, but we are going to get into beer exports, and lots of papyrus, and probably grain and other things like that as well. quite a few buyers will buy grain, although it's not worth a lot. You know, we might as well sell it. And we also can make straw, and there is literally no use for straw on this map. So we will just sell that too, because at least it's something. I'd rather people buy something than nothing on this map. So yep, that's the layout of the city. I'm going to go and build a housing block, and I'll come back in once I've done it. Okay, so this is what I've gone for. I'm going to have 2 big blocks right here. I may have another one somewhere else if we're just short on population, but I don't think we will. Down here we'll have a reed and papyrus making industry. We'll have lots of stockpile here. And all I'll do is I'll just set up a couple of yards up here to get as much papyrus as possible. There is so much papyrus production on this map that I don't think we'll even be able to tap half of it. Because we can sell 4,000 to Cairene, 4,000 to Gaza, so that's 8,000 straight off. We can then sell another, what's that, 2,500 there, 2,500 there, so we can sell, what is that, 13,000 papyrus a year. There is no chance that we'll be able to do that. There is no chance that I can make that amount of papyrus, so we are pretty much going to be limited in how much papyrus we can have up here. Now, I don't really care if they're going to wander all the way down here to get that. As long as they're not walking too far and they're only buying papyrus, it's fine. Now, I have also checked, we can only sell like 5,000 beer to 2 trade routes. And, oh, both of them are water trade routes anyway. What? I thought it meant if it was a land trade route, but apparently it is a water trade route. I've been misreading that. So, pretty much the only places that buy beer are water trade routes. So, we don't really need to worry about that right now. In fact, the vast majority of trade routes on this one are water. I mean, look, Meidum and Serbet Kadim are the only land trade routes at the moment. The rest are water trade routes. So, docks are going to be numerous. There are going to be a lot of them. And we're going to have all of our trading right here. Because we can have 1, 2... We can have like 4 docks in this tiny little space, which is more than enough. Now, I have probably put down the houses in the wrong order, but we're going to just fill up as many as we can. They will get filled up in time, which is not a problem. And what I'm going to do is just put this here. Just going to do a little loop here. And we're just going to do this stuff like so. Now, the reason for that is because these buildings don't catch fire or collapse or anything. I may put a granary there, but I'll just put an architect's post of that on this side, and this will just keep them happy. So we're not going to go into beer. There is no point because no one buys it. It's by a land trade route, and it's not worth as much. It's 140 to sell beer, but 165 to sell papyrus, and we can sell far more papyrus than we can beer, so it's not really a concern. And of course, we already have a trade route open with Byblos that buys it, so we don't actually have to do too much. Now, this is a timed mission, so I will be taking a lot of saves throughout at certain points so I can reload to if I fail. Now, I have failed this mission once before, not in this playthrough, but before I did go too slowly and I think I went too fast and I ended up running out of time. So I'm going to just keep it slow, we're not going to rush it, and we're going to build things quickly. We may end up in a lot of debt, but that's not a problem. Kingdom rating, getting it back is not going to be too difficult. I can just put down like a personal mansion somewhere, accrue some funds, and just give that to the people. Or Pharaoh, Alexandria, whoever the heck it is that we're playing as here. So yeah, let's just get started. I'm going to start the papyrus industry from the start because we might as well. And I'll come back in once we're ready to start selling papyrus. Okay, so we've got 1,000 people in the city. It's taking quite a while to get immigrants in because the housing is so far away. Of course, the entrance point's right there. But we are getting enough employees at a time that we can pretty much grow as we're getting immigrants coming in. Now, I put down a couple of extra houses down here because some of these ones were complaining of poor access to workers because they're not going past this way, which is fine. I've also started to set up our little dock area. We're not in debt because we're going into the next year, we're not in debt, which is good. So it means that this year we can focus on our money making enterprises. Now we've got a bit of a papyrus industry going, which is good. Reeds are taking a little while to harvest because they're quite far away, but that's not a problem, they will get enough in time. In fact, let's just put down, let's see, another, let's just see, there. I'll leave a gap there and then I can have another reed gatherer. Now if we have more reed gatherers, they will get it. at a nice gradual pace, which is what we want. Now we are going to feed people right now with the grain. And in fact, let's just check the unemployment at 7%. That's just going to keep on going up. Let's just put down 3 more farms like so. Yes, about money. We've got 5,000 is actually a lot. So we've got basically 17 grand to build the city. Not too bad, but we're not going to hit any more debts because we are going to work on our exports. We've got 300 papyrus come up here. Now I'm going to set this to get papyrus and accept a little bit of wood. We are going to need some wood. Now this little island here, I tend to like putting lots of warships here because it's just out of the way and it doesn't clog the space. And there's enough space to put down the 6 warships without any problem on this island. So I will at some point set up a little crossing here and then just dump an area for 6 warships right there once I've got the employees. Right now we're just going to focus on export potential because that is our concern right now. We don't have any money being made and we need to be doing that fairly soon. Let's just put down another 2 of those. And there's another 6 available here. And I can put more around the outside as it when needed. Got enough grain, I think we should be fine. Just make sure you're irrigated. So in terms of the beer production, I will just put that up here somewhere because it can only be bought by water trade routes, Mennefair and Encomie respectively. And I could just have a yard down here getting it. I think though you should be within range to go up there to get it. So we'll have beer production up here. I can just set up a small little area for that. And mostly grain. We're going to overdo the grain a little bit and just sell grain as well because we might as well. So yeah, that is the start of Alexandria. It's going quite nicely. We've got our exports going. At least we've got our papyrus coming in. Now, water traders come in from the north and they exit over here for some reason, but that's not a problem. We're going to have a lot of water trade and we're going to need to make sure it's supplanted. Let's keep on going and see if we can work on getting our exports this year because we are running out of time. Okay, we're ready to start selling our first papyrus. We're going to be selling that to Byblos, our already open trade route. And it's just going to get us out of the hole that we're suddenly starting to find ourselves in. Because it's taken us all this time just to make money. But we are going to now import, we're going to export all that lovely papyrus. Look at that, money. 2,000 straight off, there, we'll put that back. I just want these back in sync again because they were going a little bit out of sync. But we're sold 1,100 papyrus. Now let's just import some wood. Let's just import 400 just to have a little bit of stockpile because we are going to need some wood very soon, but we'll start to bring back some more papyrus. There's enough here. I don't think it's too much of an issue. Let's just set this to empty just to push it into the closer yard. We've got our reed papyrus industry going, so that's fine. Now I do want to work on beer. I do want to work on the beer industry and start selling that because we really need to just sell anything we can get our hands on. Just simply because there's not much export potential on this map. It's lots of water trades to papyrus, but then there's little cheap things like straw, grain, and just some beer. So we will try to work on our beer export now, and I think I'll do that right here. Let's just see. 1, 2, 3. If we just put a road right here, I will set up a bit of a mixture of grain and beer here, and then we will just have a little loop here. Let's just see, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, we could sort of do something like that, but I'm not sure if that's the right idea. But I'll think of something. I might have to delete some of them. It doesn't matter if you delete the original road that they placed out. That's not a game mechanic, so don't worry. There's not a game mechanic that says you will lose by destroying them, whatever it was called, the Canopic Street and that stuff. So don't worry. So we're going to start to sell some more papyrus, and we will get a bunch more coming in, hopefully before this next trader comes through, which will be good. What's our unemployment like? It's not too bad. Starting to make plenty of papyrus now, which is good. I could just increase reed production, but I don't really want to do that right now. They are tapping it, which is fine. So yeah, let's just keep on going, start to work on our next export of beer, and I'll come back in if anything of interest happens. Oh, look at that grain. We've got so much of it now in stockpile that we can actually start to consider selling it. I've got some grain up here just because it's better. Now, these guys came quite early before this filled up, so they went down here to get papyrus. It's not a problem. Let's just add another dock right there. And I think it's also time to start considering our warships and our military. Let's just put down a shipwright like that. And now we do have plenty of money put down. Health is a little bit poor, but that's not an issue right now. What we can do to rectify that is just by feeding more houses. There's enough grain in the system that I don't think it's going to be too much of a concern. We can actually add more grain farms as I think this is enough, to be honest. But we will just put down an extra grain field here and there. I'm not too sure if these ones at the end will be very highly productive, but that's not a problem. Let's just see. We do have one bit of labour shortage, but that's not a problem. Once these guys fill up with food, that will be all nice and dandy. I'll let the food stabilise before we start to sell the food, but that's not a problem. So we sold 1100. 1100. How much have we sold? We've sold 2200, so that's not too bad. You're going to start to import wood because you just went ahead and delivered some wood. That's not a problem. So we've got enough grain in the system that I don't think this is going to be too much of a concern. And we've got money, which is all that matters. We've got the money. We're starting to get profit. I mean, look at that. We made 600 profit last year despite importing. And that's only because we got gifts. But this year, I think we should be fine because we're not going to construct too much this time around. We're going to start to work on beer, and then we will start to export that to mend the fair. We'll start to probably import flax and maybe do import-export of linen, but I'm not too sure of that right now. So yeah, let's just keep on going. We've got our exports up and running. We now need to just quickly grow the city to reach our target population and housing requirements. And our other goals. Probably start to set up our warships on this little island right here. But yeah, let's just keep on going. Okay, we have debt now, and that is just simply because I was setting up this little area here. Now I have calculated I can put down 6 warships all around this bit and it'll be fine. We've got all the space to put down all the required services. It's not going to be connected to the mainland anyway, so it's not really a problem. It's got this ferry landing just simply so it can access it, but we're not actually going to, you know, give this one access to employees. We don't need to. This can just be a shanty dump for all I care. We have got barley getting ready to be made, but I do have a labour shortage. But that is going to be corrected very soon by our new immigrants. We've also got loads of papyrus to sell. Once Byblos has come through and bought a bunch of papyrus, I'll just open up another trade route to someone else that buys it. Probably Kyrene, because then I can set up a straw export. A completely worthless export, but you know, we might as well make use of all the export potential on this mission, since we don't have a lot. And it's all very far away, so it will be slower than normal. But that's fine. And the next harvest of grain, I think we will start to sell grain too, but we will just make sure we don't have too many problems. We've got 200 wood there, 400 wood there, so we've got enough to make 1 warship each with some spare. So it's not a problem. There we go, we're out of debt, we're going to be fine. 2,000 residents, we're halfway to the population target without really too much effort, so it's not that difficult really to reach the goals on this one, but we are going to have to quickly boost our papyrus export very soon. We'll just let the papyrus come back. That will give us another 1,500, and we'll then open up the trade to Kyrene, start to sell more. So yeah, papyrus is going. If there's any reeds sitting around, I will just put down another workshop and just increase the papyrus production. So yeah, let's just keep on going. I'll come back in if anything of interest happens. Okay, this is a bit of a problem. Because of their dreams of empire, a Phoenician army is approaching and will reach your city in 8 months. Now, we haven't really got any preparation for military, but I have just managed to make enough money from selling straw papyrus over to Kyrene that I can just put down 2 warships straight away. Now, we should have enough wood to be able to fill out this entire island with warships. 3, 4, 5. Actually, we won't get one in there, so I'm going to have to delete that and put it here instead, and I will just move a road to here, and then I can get the 6th one there. So that'll be a nice little warship island. I'm not too sure if we'll get all 6 by that invasion, but I think we should be doing fine. Meanwhile, we did make a profit last year, so our prosperity is going up nicely. We are going to need to evolve these houses a bit more. I've put down a courthouse. We're going to start to work on our ratings, namely the housing goal. Now we've also got some beer being made, which is going to be good. We're just going to delete that well because it really serves no purpose. We're going to start making some beer, then we can start thinking about exporting that over to Men the Fair. They'll also sell us flax and wooden pottery. We can also get enough pottery out of Kyrene, but I want to make sure we have a good supply of it. So, city's going well. The city's going quite nicely here, and we just need to really start thinking about other things, mainly money, but that invasion as well is now going to be a bit of a problem. We'll decide to get a quarter. We don't need to import a lot, but we don't even need to set this to, we can just set it to accept all. This is still getting papyrus, a little bit out of position, but it's not really a problem in my opinion. So let's just set this to empty. Let's see where are they going. We're going to the furthest one, I think. I don't really remember, but they are going somewhere to get that. So we got a warship, that didn't take too long. I'm going to try and start pushing some papyrus into this yard that's a bit closer, start to really boost that as well. We're getting enough reeds that they are just sort of keeping up with the demand, so we don't really need to increase reed production right now. So yeah, we'll come back in once we're near that Phoenician army invasion. Okay, due to diplomatic activity, a new trade route to own can now be opened. Let's just have a quick look at that. There. They sell... Oh, that's good. So they sell sandstone, they buy beer. So that's actually very useful. I could just trade all my beer to Egyptian cities I don't even need in Komi now. Because I was considering them for copper, but I could get copper from Ceramic Kadim, as well as gems, which we are going to need. And wood I can also get from Mennefer, so I don't need in Komi. That's perfectly fine. Now, because we do have a monument to build, we're going to open that up immediately. And we're just going to import sandstone. We've got the money. Let's just do 1, 2. Sandstone. Like so. Just put that there and that there. And I think sandstone comes from another land trader. And I've also put down more docks, more places to get papyrus, because we're just not selling enough papyrus anymore. We just can't get enough up here. But as long as we're selling something, that's all that matters. We've also got beer to sell. In fact, since we just opened up that trade route to own, we can just sell off all this beautiful beer to them to make some more money. And they should come in and buy it first before doing anything else. So we've got enough beer production. I don't think we need to increase that right now, but we will have this space right here to do just that, as well as grain. Maybe I'll sell grain for a little while. Does someone buy that we've got open? Nope. Who buys grain? Athens buys grain. They also sell pottery, which is useful. They buy grain. Well, I suppose I can open up trade with Ceramic Kadim as well, but I'll do that once I've got a bit more export potential in before I do anything else. So how much have we sold to all these traders? We sold a bit of straw, a bit more straw. Lots of papyrus is actually being bought, even though it doesn't look it right here, but that's not a problem. And I'll have 4 warships, I think, by the time of this invasion. What's our unemployment like? We're short by 6 employees, but that's not really a concern. So yeah, I'll just come back in once we're near that invasion of Phoenician army. Okay, another trade route has opened, the one to Bahariya Oasis, and you can see where the attack's coming from. They sell 40 sandstone, they also buy straw. You know, let's just open that and just continue to import sandstone because we really need the 65 sandstone a year to get anywhere with this. They also buy straw, so at least they're going to do something. And we've also got a nice amount of beer. We've also expanded our beer production. It is causing some labour shortages, but once someone comes in to sell us pottery, Kyrene, we should be fine. Let's just put down a 4th warship and see if it will be built before that attack. If it is, that's even better. Got plenty of papyrus getting made, that's not a problem. Just a bit too late, but that's not a problem. So get papyrus up here, which is good, and we'll be able to sell that. Reed supply is just a bit holding up. They are starting to tap over to this little bit of reeds as well, so they are using this, which is fine. But by the time that they get back to this, it is starting to regrow anyway. So we're just about holding together. We've got our exports all running. We just need to wait for that attack to come in. And we've got sandstones. We can import more than enough sandstone to fill up these yards very quickly, so we don't really need to worry about that right now. Culture's held back by a lack of dentists. In fact, let's just delete the police stations since we don't need them anymore. We will need them later, but that's not a concern right now. We don't have anything that they would like to rob, so not really a concern. But Bahari always fully buys straw, but Owen will buy beer as well, so that's going to be useful. We should have enough beer on hand, that shouldn't be a problem. If needed, I just open up the trade route to Mennefer and sell some beer there. They also sell flax and pottery. There's enough beer being produced, which is not too bad. Anyway, a Phoenician army will be here in 1 month. We are in debt, not too good. Will you buy something to prevent us going into even further debt? But I don't think it's too much of a problem. We've not hit any debt anniversaries. and this will be easy to get up anyway. There's 1400 beer. We can sell a little bit of that to own, but the trade union will reset by that point anyway, so it's not really a concern. So they will import pottery first, which will drive our cash down, but that's not a concern because we will be able to sell off a lot of stuff and make our money back. Let's just tell you to get pottery when it's available. Okay, so we've got 4 warships. I do know that they are sea attacks, it's just 2 of them, which is not a concern. I will have to build up a land force as well, because I think we're going to be asked for troops to a land attack. But we'll see. I don't think the Phoenician army is too strong, so we should be fine. We've got enough time as well to meet our goals, so it's not a problem. Cash is going way down. That's because of imports, but that's not a problem. We will make that back very shortly. Anyway, Phoenician army is here. Let's just try to defeat them. And that battle was defeated quite easily. Now during that, the trade route to Byblos has now shut down, so we have lost our import of wood from there and our selling of papyrus, but that's not really a concern. We should be fine, so we'll just send everyone back to be repaired. They weren't that difficult to defeat. It was one early on because we defeated the single transport, but that's not really a concern. So we have imported a bunch of sandstone out of nowhere. We have got these houses nicely evolving. I think what I need to do is just continue to evolve, but I think we're going to have to open up an additional trade route. So let's open up this water route to Menefer and start to sell beer by a water trade route. We should start to boost our coffers quite nicely. You are Kyrene. And there's a couple of traders that got attacked as well. And because the trade route to Byblos is closed, we can now sell grain for a higher price. That was like 7 demons increase. So it's now 28, so at least I suppose it's worth something if we want to export it. And I think we should actually... let's see, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'll probably have additional sandstone ones over here, so let's just set these to be sandstone. We are in significant debt, but that's not really a problem right now. We can do just fine with that, because we will get out of it this year, I hope. So start to stockpile sandstone. In fact, let's just do 7, 8. Let's just set this to be another grain acceptor right here. We can start to sell grain. Now, who buys grain again? I think we can sell that to Cerebit Kadim. Let's just open that up and sell grain. You can just sell the surplus. And we've got beer to sell as well as papyrus, which is also building up quite nicely. I think I just need to open up more papyrus buyers at this point. But I'll wait to get out of debt. I'll get closer to out of debt. So yeah, that was the first attack. Not too difficult. And we've got all of our exports running, so now we just need to power on to the goals and start to think about our monument and its provisions. Okay, so what's this? Because you could use some help, Pharaoh wants to give me, well, Pharaoh Alexander, wants to give me 72 sandstone, except that has just filled out all of that, but that is actually very useful because now I don't have to import so much sandstone. We have now managed to get out of debt very easily by selling all this papyrus, beer and straw and shit that's been stockpiling up here, which is actually very useful. We're selling lots of beer, lots of grain. We're just pretty much selling anything we can. I've also put down some tax offices and started to get people taxing. This will help our income as well because we can now make quite a bit of income. Let's just increase this a little bit more. So we should now get out of debt and we shouldn't be in any issues there. We've just got a little bit more sandstone to import. We've got 186 in stockpile, 2 more yards, so we should be fine. But we just need to increase our papyrus stockpile again. We have run out of straw and the like, which is not a problem. We've also got lots of grain to sell. I think I need to open up more trade routes that buy grain. Let's have a quick look. We can't really sell grain to anyone else other than Athens. We are selling all of our grain to Cerebit Kadim. And if we want to sell more grain, we are going to have to open up additional trade routes. Okay, I've also increased barley production because it's a little bit low as well, but we've got loads of income coming in. We've also got plenty of people. I think it's now time to just put down a school, like so. What's our culture like? Short by booths and all that. That's not a problem because that's easy to add. I say this when I have very little places to put these things down. But I'll find out. There's a place right there. That's even better. Just a natural little booth right there. Now, I'm not sure if that will affect anything, but we need to just get an income up, which it is. So by the end of the year, we'll go into it with nice healthy profit, and we should be able to pay our tribute. That's going down because of that, which is not a problem. So we're doing fine. We just need to increase our population. We're nearly at the population target. With this evolved and these evolved, we should be fine. And all I have to do is then work on the goals. So I'll just keep on going. I'll come back in if anything of interest happens. Okay, this is a little bit of a problem. Heed the battle cry because we need to send some troops to Serbet Kadim. We've only got nothing and it's a land force. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to send something. You know, I might as well send something. Now we do have plenty of money. So let's just put down... let's just put the archers somewhere random where it doesn't really matter. Let's just put down 2 archer forts like so. And then an academy over here. And hopefully we can train up something and send that off. A bit late on that, I should have had that all prepared. I've also got a little fishing area set up here because we're going to provide 2 types of food. I don't think it's needed for the prosperity, but I am going to make sure we're just a little bit over it just to be absolutely certain. These guys will get access to beer, and that should bring us up to 4,000, which should be not too much of a problem. We've also been working on culture, we got that up. We just need to import flax from somewhere to be able to handle that. Now I think I'm going to need another dock right here. And what I'm going to do is actually just roadblock here. I can just get a roadblock down there. And let's just put down this and replace that. There we go. So that should be okay. So I'll try and train up some troops, get ourselves up to handling that request. I'm not sure if we'll get it done in time, but that's not a problem. We'll try and send something. So yeah, we'll get some archers and we'll come back in if anything of interest happens. At this point, we're just now waiting to build the mausoleum. We're nearly there. Okay, I don't think that attack at Serbet Kadim was a serious one because we just sent 12 archers that were academy trained and they succeeded. Let's just see how they came back. We lost 3. I don't think that attack was very large. I think that's just an attack that forces you to have something. So maybe it was just a one troop thing or something, I don't know. Anyway, we helped Serbet Kadim. I've also got to put down the sandstone mausoleum. We absolutely need to get that done with as quickly as possible. Now down here, I have also put down a little bit of a slums district. I will delete this later because it will probably affect prosperity because it will be slum housing. And it's just because we've got a bit of a labour shortage right now. The fishing industry here I have deleted because we do not need it. We've got over the prosperity target with just this. But if these houses stabilise, they should be fine. Yeah, so we've got that done. When these guys get access to linen, they should be fine as well. And yes, we've got pretty much everything going. We do not need to do anything more with our income sources. We've got enough income at the moment. Now we do need to think about our stuff here. I'm actually going to put down a yard. I'll actually wait until, unless, you know, let's not do that. Let's turn this into a weapons and copper import area. And we'll just import 200 copper at a time, or 400. And we will put down 2 weaponsmiths. And that'll allow us to train some infantry, and that will come over to the next mission, which is what we're going to need. So our target starts off, we've met culture, we've met prosperity. Our kingdom's a little bit low, but that's not a problem. We've met everything else, we just need to boost population. I may have to set up a small little housing block somewhere else, like a proper one. We should be okay. Baharias in need of grain, we've got way too much. If I was actually checking, we can sell out all of our grain to Athens and all that, so we have no problem with the amount of grain production that we have. How much can we produce? Enough to support 8,200, so that's quite a bit. We just need to clear this and we should be fine. We're also going to need to put down some stonemasons. Let's just put down 5 of these. I think that's enough. And we should have enough employment for that. So yeah, let's just keep on going. The monument's the only thing we need to worry about, and I'll come back in if anything of interest happens. We're running out of time, but I think we've got the chance to do it. Okay, so we're going a bit for a rush to the end here. We need to send 600 flasks of beer to men effort. We'll just send that off. Now, our prosperity has dropped largely because, and this is just screwed, which is not very helpful. And we will just stop the export papyrus for now because we can't really keep up with it. We've got shit tons of cash. Now, I have had to cut back on some houses here because it is affecting our prosperity. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to evolve these blocks up a bit further just to make sure that we have good prosperity, because that's going to be necessary. So we'll just do that, and that should be enough for that. We'll only feed 1 or 2 blocks. In fact, this will go right up to fast residence because they have the 2 gods. We're going to bring some linen down, and yeah, so we don't really need to do anything now except wait. The monument will be completed fairly soon. There's only a small amount of sandstone left, and we've got another 54 months to do that in. Let's actually just put down, and you need barley. I have a shit ton of that, so that's fine. Let's just put down the final warships, even though we don't really need them. And I think we should be fine. So now at this point, I'm just going to start to cut back on this. I don't really need it anymore, to be honest. Once I start to evolve housing, we should be fine. So yeah, let's just keep on going, and I'll come back in once the monument is complete, because that's pretty much the thing we're waiting for. Okay, here's a bit of a dick move. The people of Baharia Oasis need 600 pomegranates. Now, I don't understand this request because they've got pomegranates, so all I have to do is import some pomegranates from the people who are asking for it and then give it back to them. You know, that is just ridiculous, but we'll just accept it anyway. We'll just put some pomegranates right here. We don't need to import that much. Let's just import to maintain 800. Now, how much sandstone do you need? You only need basically 1 full yard, but we're still importing. I'm also going to start making the luxury goods. In fact, we don't even need to import any more gems, so we'll just stop that. We're also going to start to evolve this little block. We might as well. It is affecting our prosperity by the fact it's not evolved, and this block's going to take too long to get fish, which is a problem. But once we have completed this, we won't need any of the monument industry, so I could, in theory, just demolish this. In fact, let's just not do that. Let's just put this back to the way it was going to be. We'll just set it to accept and then empty it out, which is fine. And once we have completed the one, I can just destroy all of this and it won't be a problem. So yeah. We're not going to do anything with this, we're just going to let it crash and burn basically. So we're now working towards our goals. We've got enough weapons and such to stop. I've got some troops as well. You're going to get your pomegranates, just shush. Silver Kadim, that was selling us copper. Where's the people selling us pomegranates? Somewhere. They're somewhere in the city, I can't see them, but they'll go and sell us pomegranates. That's the last of the sandstone. We don't need any more, I don't think. So we'll just let this run on. Yeah, we do not need any more sandstone, so let's just stop imports of that. I'll just delete it actually. We'll just get rid of this yard. So they'll go and complete that mausoleum, and then we just have to make a rush for victory. We've only got a few more years left, and we have to keep this prosperity above the target it needs to be. I'll also need to put down a mansion and start giving myself some gifts. Let's make the push for the end, folks. Okay, another Phoenician army is going to attack in 6 months. That's not really going to be a problem. We have completed the monument, so I'm just going to delete all of this stuff. We do not need it. It is just wasting workers at this point. We do not need that many people. In fact, we can even just take down all of this because it's just not needed anymore. Just take it all down. We'll just get rid of it all because we don't need it. We just do not need it anymore. And that will save us a load of workers as well by not employing people. It will also not affect our prosperity either. Now, our population has dropped, but that's not a problem because we can just allow these houses to evolve. If needed, I'll just put down a little bit of shanty housing somewhere. And I think we've got enough space for people. Actually, we don't have enough space, which is a bit of a problem. In fact, let's just get you access to linen and evolve you guys. Sandstone, we don't need that, but I will gladly take it because I don't need it. And I'll just come back in once that invasion's here. Okay, so that Phoenician army is going to be here in 1 month battle conquest. I do know where this one comes from. It comes from this left-hand side. And we're actually just going to move our archers into position just to help deal with them, because I'm not too sure if we will. But I think we can. I don't think it's too big of an invasion. They usually aren't, but that's not a problem. Now, our houses are evolving. Our prosperity is there, as is our other goals. I just need to wait a little bit and we will win the mission very shortly, with plenty of time to go. We've got the weapons, gems and luxury goods all in stockpile. We're just going to get through this invasion, and I'm not even going to time-lapse it. It's so easy. You know, it's not really worth talking about this battle, to be honest. Come on. Is this just warships? I think we defeated the transport very quickly. I didn't even see it get destroyed. You're weak. For some reason. We'll just let you deal with them. And there we go, we defeated them. That was not too difficult. Didn't even really need to micro that, to be honest. There we go. Now, we did have one warship less because of various reasons, and what's this? Wasps that needed some troops. Are they even on the map? Well, apparently they are. What kind of troops? Small force, you know, I'll just send everyone. Go off and help Wasps, we'll see what we get from that. But we have pretty much won this mission. We do not really need to do anything else. We've got some fancy residences, which was even nicer. Could have evolved them higher, but I didn't really want to. Golds are all there, that has helped the prosperity as well, having them. So yeah, I'll just come back in once we're ready to win this mission, because we've just about done it. Okay, we succeeded, and they're giving us more sandstone, which we don't even need. But we will just accept it. Because why not? We are hoarders. What's our unemployment like? 8%, not too bad. It's not even retarding our prosperity rating either. Which is quite good. So let's just put down a bunch of work camps. That will control it a little bit. Which is all that matters. We don't really need to do that though. Our prosperity's there. We'll just accept this gift. More grain. Take it. There we go. Let's delete that. Okay, so we're just going to take a final save. And marvel our city. So here's our 2 double blocks with our large farming industry right here. And Alexander the Great's tomb right here. With a bit of our industry here. And there. It worked out quite nicely with our troops just randomly over here for no reason. And I don't think we lost anyone either, which is good. If we lost anyone, they've just been recovered. Yeah, we've lost a couple of things, but it's not a problem. So all we have to do now is set off the burial provisions. We've got all the pottery, we've got everything we needed. We even destroyed that slum block, we didn't even need it. So 2 blocks of this size will get you to the 4,000. Just about. You might have to evolve 1 block a little bit higher. But that's the general idea. If you want to feed them fish, go ahead, there's plenty of it here. And generally for warships, just use this island right here. It's the best place for them. And yeah, just sell papyrus until you're ready to start taxing, and that will cover all your imports and exports. So there's a lot of imports on this one because you have to import lots of pottery and sandstone at one point. But apart from that, there's lots of exports. Goals met, houses there. All I have to do is send a gift. That'll get the kingdom there. And then these. 4 weapons, some gems, and some luxury goods. Victory! We have completed Alexander the Great's Alexandria, literally, under a time limit. We just about managed to complete it before we ran out of time. And it was quite a challenge because you have to rush really at the beginning. You can't take it too casually. You have to go right in with a large city in mind. You can't start small. You have to start large, and you have to expand very quickly. So you have to use all the starting funds and all the rescue funds to get straight into papyrus, and then beer, and just export whatever you can. Let us proceed to complete the first mission of the final campaign.
You have done well. Your wise leadership and careful planning have positioned Alexandria to be the hub of Mediterranean commerce. It is most unfortunate that Alexander the Great never saw his empire's capital. At least we have the satisfaction to know that he is now safely entombed within it.
So yeah, Alexander the Great died. He went off on some expedition, but he was never heard from again and died. I'm not sure what the details are. You can look it up on Wikipedia, I'll probably tell you there. But quite a tough mission because you've got so little time. In fact, we completed that in 123 months. If we hadn't got the prosperity by that point, we would have lost. Especially with the monument as well. Completed that nice mausoleum for Alexander the Great as well. Nice goals. Nice. They're just meetable. Even on hard, they're meetable, but you do have to go in with future planning in mind. You have to know that you will lose the trade route to Byblos after the first Phoenician attack. And there are some troop requests that might catch you out. And you do have to go right into an industry. You can't start small. It's not about self-preservation. You have to go in with the knowledge that you are building a massive industrial town. So it's all got to be massive. So don't try to get by with maybe just the bare minimum of papyrus makers and reed gatherers. You have to go in with large production. Anyway, that was Alexandria number 1. If you want to head on to the next mission, which is Ptolemy's Alexandria, which is Alexandria number 2, click the card on the screen, it'll take you there. It's going to be a long mission because it's going to be having some quite interesting goals. But you can find that out in the next video, guys. Bye now.